Good morning. So I thought it would be a good idea not to write comments on the first subjective synthesis, but instead to just record this and put this in a video format, because I think that it takes a different meaning when it's actually said than written, and it's also a different kind of communication that I would like to engage with you, something less formal than writing. And I think it's important. So it's also to give you the idea that maybe you should use a more fluid medium to communicate, and even for the subjective synthesis. And that should be my first comment about the subjective synthesis, is why just written documents? Why no images? And it's about creativity, digital practices, and so why don't I see something creative? Why don't I see something that actually uses digital technologies in a different way? So it's just to encourage you moving further in your expression and looking for more diverse way of saying things. And I fully understand that the first subjective synthesis is very difficult. The group is very new, you just met, you do not know each other very well, and you need to understand who is capable of what and how you are thinking and how you are working. I understand all of that, and I'm taking all of that in account when I'm commenting your subjective synthesis. First of all, on a theoretical viewpoint, they are great. I think that the three groups made a very good job at summarizing the content of the documents they have selected. So it's very well summarized. You've outlined very clearly what was for you the most important concepts presented in these documents. From that point of view, your subjective syntheses are just perfect, and I have absolutely no comment on that. My only concern is then. So you have these really well made and clearly articulated analysis of these documents, and the subjective synthesis comes at the very end of your paper. So we have the exact same presentation for the three groups, detailed analysis of the contents of the documents, and then at the end the subjective synthesis. So I will explain what I would like to see. Is I'm not very much interested in the analysis of the content. I expect you to do it, but I do not want to see it. What I want to see is, what do you do with that? What do you have to say knowing all of this? And this is the subjective synthesis. So it's just a question of format. Do not show me the analysis, but show me what we can do with the analysis. So I will go a little bit in detail for some of the groups. Group 2 concludes with something wonderful, saying a new discipline lies between art, science, and technology. They will be no longer considered interdisciplinary, but an independent field of research. Wonderful. And where is that leading to? Can you point to some examples of that new independent field of research? Can you show me how would you be practicing within that field? What kind of objects will researchers and practitioners in that field of research will create. And that's your synthesis. So very good one. I have just a little bit of a comment on the summary. When you analyze digital creativity, you take from the document that it should be divided into 4 domains: design contexts, creative arts and learning, human technology environment, support and policy. Can we critique a little bit these categories? Why would creative arts be bundled with learning? And why only 4 domains? Where is the place for community forming, or is it in support and policy? Why using these terms? So I think that you should probably hint to a little bit of a critique of these limitations, especially with your conclusion, a new independent field of research. Can a new independent field of research that is completely interdisciplinary at its core be developed on the basis of these 4 rigid domains? Okay, for group 3, I like your same thing. I like your conclusion, but it's really a little bit too fast and not going somewhere. You say, with rapid changes in the uses of systems and tools commonly used by computer artists, consideration of those tools and how those tools are changing will need to be considered. Number 1, I have a little bit of difficulty with that long sentence. But yes, something needs to be considered. And you point to it. It's our relationship with these tools. And not only artist relationship, but also users and viewers. So what do you propose with that? And group 1, says, the video mentioned that as humans change, so does technology. Yes, I fully agree on that, but I also fully agree that technology has an influence on human, and you should be considering that other part of the interaction between human beings and technology. And you conclude with, as humans continue to grow and change, so will technology, and as technology evolves, so will our creativity, with the new outlets, medium we have to perform with. Great! So I want you to expand on that. Show me how in your own practice, with your own activities, how you take in account that evolution of that deep relationship between human beings and technology. So it's just, what I want to do is just to encourage you to go a little bit further and feel free to express yourself. Feel free to disagree with the contents, feel free to propose new things, feel free to also submit documents that would be imperfect, but that would reflect in a more spontaneous manner your point of view. And when I say point of view, I'm always referring to a point of view that's looking towards the future. And that's also my general comment is, okay, now we have that, where do we go? Where do we look? What do we see in that horizon that you clearly reveal in your papers? You show that you are fully aware of what's going on, the state of the art, the trends, what's happening in digital technologies. But using that, when you look into the horizon of the future, you yourself, what do you see, and what do you see yourself doing in here? And can you give us an example of what is that anticipation that you're carrying with you. Okay? So let's continue working this way, but I really want to reassure everyone there's absolutely no negative consequences attached to this submission. It's exactly something expected, it's normal. I critique and I explain why I'm critiquing, and it's not a critique that's meant to judge what you've done, but it's a critique that's meant to orient what we will be doing in the future. Okay, so I thank you very much for your contribution. I really appreciate the depth of your analysis. Now I want to see the trajectory forward in your subjective synthesis. Have a nice day.